Welcome back to the Ryoko Show, the podcast that inspires and empowers you to create the life you truly love. I'm Ryoko. Today, we are diving deep into the power of generosity. Generosity isn't just about grand gestures. It's about how everyday acts of kindness can boost our mood, strengthen our relationships, and reduce stress. Research shows that giving, whether it's a smile, a helping hand, or a donation, releases feel-good chemicals in our brain, helps us connect with others, boost our mood, reduce stress, and even improve physical health. We are going to look at how being generous and also accepting generosity can boost our overall well-being. To get started, let's talk about the act of giving. Whether it's donating money to a cause or lending a helping hand to a friend in need, or simply offering a smile to a stranger, giving is a powerful expression of empathy and compassion. Being generous means giving without expecting anything in return. Into why generosity is so powerful for our well-being. First of all, giving makes us feel really good. Whether it's sharing a smile with a stranger or helping out a friend, acts of generosity release chemicals in our brain like dopamine, endorphin, and oxytocin. These are the same chemicals that makes us feel happy, content, and connected. So being generous can actually leave us feeling fulfilled and improve our well-being. Generosity helps us build stronger connections with others. When we do something kind, whether it's a small gesture or a big donation, we strengthen the bonds between us. Studies show that our social connections are one of the biggest factors in determining our happiness and well-being. By being generous, we not only improve relationship, but also create a sense of belonging in our communities, which is super important for our mental and emotional health. Generosity is a great way to reduce stress. In our fast-paced world, stress is pretty much constant and it's really affect our mental and physical health. But when we focus on helping others instead of worrying about our own problems, something magical happens. Giving helps us feel calmer and more relaxed, lowering our stress levels and bringing us more peace. By practicing generosity, we create a positive cycle where our acts of kindness not only help others, but also makes us feel better too. So whether it's a small act of kindness or a bigger gesture, giving can change our lives. As we deal with life's ups and downs, embracing generosity can bring joy, strengthen our relationships, and helps us find peace. When we give, we often receive much more in return, not necessarily from the person we helped, but from some place or someone unexpected. Generosity is like that special ingredient that makes friendship and connections even better. But sometimes it's hard to be generous. So what stops us from being extra kind to each other? One thing that often holds us back from giving is fear. You know, the fear of not having enough, the fear of being judged, or feeling too vulnerable. It's like this inner voice saying, can I really spare this? Or what if I need it later? Especially in a world where it feels like everyone is out for themselves, it can be tough to step up and offer something freely, you know? We start thinking, will I be taken advantage of? Or is there even enough good to go around? And then there is our ego. When our ego takes control, we worry about how others see us. We are afraid that if we give too much away, we'll seem weaker or less in control. So we hold on to things tightly and thinking it'll protect us. But the truth is, it just isolates us. And it stops us from truly connecting with others and from experiencing that deep sense of community and belonging. And that's where real generosity comes in. It's about breaking down those walls, letting go of that fear, and opening ourselves up to the joy of giving without expecting anything in return. Also, sometimes we doubt whether what we have to offer even matters. Like, is my contribution really going to make a difference? We underestimate the power of small acts of kindness. But the truth is, even little bit counts, whether it's a smile, a few bucks, or just lending an ear, it all adds up. So let's believe in the value of our contributions and start sharing the goodness we have to offer. And on the flip side, receiving can be also tough. For some, pride stands in the way, making it hard to accept help or support because we want to be self-sufficient. Others may feel unworthy of kindness or assistance. Another barrier to receiving is the belief that accepting help is a sign of weakness. In a society often glorifies independence, it can be hard to admit when we need a helping hand. But vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a strength. By allowing ourselves to receive with grace, we honor our humanity and create space for deeper connections and mutual support. In Japanese culture, humility is seen as a virtue. We want to be polite and don't want to come across as selfish or greedy. So when someone offers help, treats you to dinner, or gives you a gift, we don't want to accept right away. When I was living in Japan, it was common to see people, especially older generation, at a restaurant saying, "Let me pick up the bill." And then the other person goes, "No, let me pick up the bill." And it goes back and forth. But think about how you'd feel if you give someone a gift and then they said, "You shouldn't have." It would make you feel bad, right? Not accepting with joy robs the giver of the opportunity to feel good about their generosity. So it's important to be gracious receivers of generosity. It's not just about accepting, but doing so with appreciation and gratitude. Also, not only in my culture, but there is often a misconception that if we accept generosity, we must reciprocate with even greater gestures. So this mindset can make us hesitant to accept or makes us feel like inadequate receivers. From what I hear, people are more generous givers than receivers of generosities. But we want to remember that we can't pour from an empty cup. We need to take care of ourselves first. Sometimes we think it's selfish to focus on ourselves or feel bad about taking care of our needs when others are going through tough times. But what I've learned is that when we are joyful and happy, it spreads to those around us. It creates a ripple effect. So one of the best things we can do to help others is to take good care of ourselves, spread joy, love ourselves, and be kind to ourselves. We can only give to others what we have within us. This was a good reminder. Many of us, particularly women, have a tendency to give and give without recognizing that our own cup is empty. We pour our energy into others, often neglecting our own needs in the process. Eventually, we find ourselves exhausted, perhaps even resentful. When we are pouring from our empty cup, we are unable to emit positive energy. And this is not only affect our own well-being, but also it has a ripple effect on people around us. As they say, our energy impacts at least 5 people out. For example, if I affect one person in my social circle, that person may then impact their spouse, who in turn affects their colleagues. Then those colleagues may go home and pass on that energy to their children or friends, creating a chain reaction that reaches far beyond our immediate interactions. So taking care of ourselves, being generous to us by taking the time to fill our own cup is not selfish. but our contribution to the well-being of the world. When we are filled with joy and gratitude, our emotional state is elevated. Being grateful for the chance to both give and receive generosity puts us in an emotional state that attracts similar experiences. So generosity actually circulates back to us. The law of attraction says like attracts like. We attract experiences and people that align with our emotional state and not with our desires. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So we want to vibrate at a higher level to attract what we want, because what we want also vibrates at a higher level. It's like tuning into a radio station. You can't hear it if you're not in the same frequency. So practicing generosity has a lot of benefits. So how we can overcome these obstacles and cultivate a spirit of generosity in our lives? It starts with awareness, recognizing when fear, ego, or pride is holding us back from giving or receiving freely. From there, we can practice compassion and self-reflections, gently challenging the beliefs that stand in our way. Ultimately, generosity isn't about grand gestures or lavish gifts. It's about the simple act of showing up for each other with an open heart and a willingness to connect. Whether we are giving or receiving, the true gift lies in the connection itself, in the bonds of empathy, kindness, and understanding that unites us as human beings. To recap, today we talked about the immense power of generosity and its benefit for both the giver and the receiver. We explored how acts of kindness can boost our mood, strengthen our relationship, and reduce stress. We also talked about the common barriers to generosity, like fear, ego, and pride, and how to overcome them. Remember, taking care of ourselves is crucial to being able to give to others, and embracing generosity can elevate our emotional state and attract more positivity into our lives. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. If you liked the episode, please subscribe, rate, and review. And if you haven't already, go to the show note and grab a free guide to take the first step to transform your life. Until next time, practice generosity and keep shining.